In this series, we've been talking about collecting seeds for next year. And last video in this series, we talked about some of the reasons I really like to save seeds. And I mentioned 2 of the warnings about saving seeds in that video. But I want to talk about the easiest seed to save that I've ever found. And we're going to talk about 3 warnings about saving your seeds in the garden for next year. Very important, so let's get going.
Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave.
So I'm sitting out here in the garden and thinking about the previous video that we did, the 3 reasons I love to collect seeds. Number 1, save money. We all like to save money where we can, and when you're talking about hundreds, even thousands of dollars, that's a big thing. So number 1, saving money. Number 2, adaptation. The seeds that you save come from plants that grow in your garden, which means they are adapting to your watering habits, your sunlight, your weather patterns. So they get better that way. The third thing, of course, the fact that it makes you self-reliant. And now, folks, I'm not a big isolationist. I love people. I love talking to people. I am surrounded by people, and I'm happy with that. I'm not trying to be by myself, but you know, in case for some reason there's a shortage of seeds, which we've just seen in the past year or 2, we've seen shortage of certain kinds of seeds, and the fact that you've collected your own seeds really helps in ensuring that you can grow your favorite foods year after year. So now let's get into some of the reasons, some of the warnings about collecting your own seeds. And these aren't terrible warnings, these are not earth-shattering warnings, but there are 3 things to kind of keep in mind as you're getting ready to save seeds if you've never done it the first time. But anyway, as far as what we're going to be collecting, in fact, you can probably see there's like a dozen of them behind me here. The loofah gourd, and we've been putting out a lot of videos about my monster loofah. You're seeing one little tiny section of a 70-foot vine in 4 directions. It's been an amazing discovery journey, exploration, seeing what this thing can do, and want to talk about collecting these seeds. But and while we're doing that, we're going to talk about the 3 warnings about collecting seeds that you got to keep in mind. So if you've watched many of our over 600 videos at this point, you know I love saving money. I'm cheap. I like saving seeds. And I mean, here's the okra that we were just doing in the last video. Go back and watch that if you haven't watched it yet. The zinnia seeds that we're saving. We have here even watermelon seeds that are pretty easy to save. These are all dried out. They just go in the bag. These are watermelon seeds for next year. But now we're coming down to, yep, here it is. We are coming down to the loofah seeds. This is the one we just pulled off. Can you hear that? This one even more so. It's like a big rattle. And I don't have anything here. Good grief, I just have never seen vines so tough. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to open these up and save the seeds. I'm going to put them in this bowl, and we're going to find out how easy these are to save. So this is actually my very first time. I've done a little research on how it's done, and I feel like I can do this pretty easy. Saving loofah seeds is about the simplest thing. Now, folks, there's a shower sponge inside here, or a dish sponge. You can cut these things up into about 1 or 2 inch size slices, use them for dishes, whatever you want to use them for. Yeah, they're not going to last long like the plastic ones, but you know what? You get a bunch of them. You saw how many there are out there. There are hundreds out there, and watch for that video. Please subscribe so you don't miss that video, because I have a feeling I'm going to be overwhelmed. Okay, so anyway, the way these things hang on the vine, it's like this. the blossom, what we call the blossom end, is pointing down. That's the end that has the yellow flower on it. This thing is grown, the yellow flower is fallen off. First thing we need to do is we need to loosen all the seeds. And frankly, folks, it's real simple. Loosen those seeds. Now, I'll admit this thing just came off the vine. It actually sounds better, but I bet it'll dry some more. I'm going to leave it out on our drying table out there till we harvest, and it'll actually have more free seeds in there. I know this one has been sitting out there for almost a week, and so I know it's good. I've already pounded it a little bit. Now, the way this thing is hanging, that real strong vine is very important. A plant wants to reproduce. A plant is designed to recreate itself over and over. And it's designed to grow those plants even more next year. And so, as it's hanging here from that vine that is really strong, and now it's really light, so it's going to hang there for a long time. Eventually, what's going to happen is this bottom is going to get tender. And you'll notice I just very easily broke the bottom. And these things will wave in the wind and bounce against the vine and bounce against things around the tree, whatever. And when this thing breaks open, it will spread those seeds all over the ground. And look at there, folks. There's a ton of seeds. Wow. That's just amazing. So, that's it, folks. You just pop that bottom cap off and you're ready to go. Now, we're talking about these 3 warnings. There are a few things to keep in mind. And I say warnings, these are not life-changing things. It's the kind of thing that if you keep in your mind, it will make your seed saving a little easier. So, very first thing to know about seed saving is, and I mentioned this in the previous video briefly, and this is topmost, is the hybrid heirloom problem. Now, if it's an heirloom plant, I personally prefer heirlooms, but I grow hybrids. An heirloom plant has been growing generation after generation, true to seed, has been coming out the right way every single time. And that's what you want to look for, is heirloom things. Now, there's still some seeds up in there. I can hear them still rattling. To get to that loofah sponge inside there, we're just going to peel away this zipper skin. And it really is a zipper skin. Look at that. You see that? Now that it's dried, it just peels right off, and we have a very nice loofah. See that? Just came right off. Clean. That's the advantage of waiting till they're dry. So anyway, this hybrid heirloom thing. Heirlooms are great because you always know that if it's the only one of that particular kind of thing that you're growing in the garden, it's going to come out the same way every single time. Now, some of you may remember the Kajari melon that I tasted, I don't know, a year and a half ago. It's been a while ago. I'll see if I can find it and link to it in the description below. But it had cross-pollinated with something else, and it didn't taste like either the Kajari or the cantaloupe that it had cross-pollinated with. It tasted more like grass. And that's what can happen with cross-pollination. And with hybrids, I mean, things that have combined and 2 parent plants into one. They do it for flavor, they do it for longevity, they do it for a lot of reasons. But saving the seeds from that, what happens is the seeds will grow something. One of 3 things. It'll grow something new. It will grow something of one of the 2 parents. And in the case of that Kajari melon, it grew something new and it was nasty. It tasted like I had gone out in the yard and gotten myself a mouthful of grass. That's all it tasted like. And so if you're saving seeds, be sure, try to keep in mind saving heirloom seeds, and making sure you don't have the same things. Now, certain items, that was a melon, requires bees to go from flower to flower to pollinate. Certain things like tomatoes and hot peppers, pepper plants, chilies and stuff, they are self-pollinated, and the chances of getting cross-pollination out of them is pretty slim. It can happen, but if you have just a little bit of separation, most of the time you can get true to parent seeds. And I've saved a lot of seeds from my pepper plants and from my tomato plants that have come out true to the parent and have worked just fine. I've actually never had one of them come out wrong. And if you look at my garden tours, you'll see I don't leave very much space between everything. So first thing is make sure you're doing the heirloom type seeds for saving, and for that reason you might test a number of heirlooms to find your favorite ones. Now the second thing to keep in mind is that we are human, okay? Occasionally you will go along and you will plant a crop. You got a packet of seeds from some reputable company and it says that it's XYZ plant. The example we did in the okra seed was the Hill Country Red Okra. And I got those packets from a reputable seed source, a very reputable seed source, and I planted them. Well, turns out there was one seed in there that was not Hill Country Red. I don't know what it was. It was a longer, skinnier okra, but there was just a random seed in that packet that was something else. That does happen, folks. It happens. We're human. So many seeds get processed and bagged. One pops out and flies into the other little assembly line. If they have in fact, I know the company that did that. They have multiple seed packing lines, and it might have just popped out of the machine and fell into the other one. It might have happened in the growing process. There might have been another seed in the ones that the farmer planted that raised those seeds. We don't know where it happened. It happens. Don't get upset. Be your loving self. Just pull, if you don't want to have the worry of that thing cross-pollinating anything, you can pull that plant. That's all. It's no big deal. It's not even worth the phone call or the email sending in. So occasionally that happens. Now, okay, I know we had Seedgate, and last year there were a number, I think it was hot peppers that got mixed up from some company, and I can't remember, and that does happen. And again, be your loving self. I know that one of the companies that I'm thinking of, that I think it happened, they were actually very good. They replaced seeds and understood. I've actually had seed companies tell me that there was a problem with the raising of the seeds or the processing of the seeds, and not to plant them because there was something messed up, and they refunded my money. Didn't even ask. They just refunded my money. Well, I still got the seeds, and just out of curiosity, I planted them anyway. And you know what happened? They still grew. I still had whatever that was. I can't remember if it was a tomato or a pepper. I think it was one of those two. Anyway, so the second thing just to keep an eye out on as your things are growing, and this is why labels are so important, because no, that seed I planted was XYZ plant, and that's not XYZ plant. You'll be able to tell if it's something different. And sometimes you can be adventurous and explore whatever does grow, and that's okay too. Just bear in mind that when you're saving seeds, you don't know what it is. I actually have a couple of mystery seeds in my seed basket that I don't know what they are, but I do like growing them, and I'll grow them again each year. So yeah, that's the second thing, is just know that sometimes seeds get messed up. So the third and final thing about saving seeds is when you're saving seeds, be sure that the fruit that you're saving them from are fully ripe. Now, this loofah, we're saving it until it is fully complete. It is complete. This thing is good to go. It is ready to dry out and start collecting seeds. Some of those little tiny loofah we looked at, they don't even have seeds yet. You're not going to get any seeds from those. And a lot of things are like that. Even okra. You get okra when it's young, it doesn't have fully developed seeds. It's not going to be able to grow those seeds. In fact, okra is kind of interesting. When it first starts growing, the seeds are about the size of a grain of sand. They're itty bitty things. Watermelon. You get a watermelon too young and not quite ripe, it won't even have seeds either. Zinnias, you might pull those seeds out, but if it hasn't developed at all, if it's just in the bud stage, those seeds haven't developed enough information to be able to recreate the plant. And so, anyway, you want to be sure that those things are ripe, fully ripe. Tomatoes, peppers, all these things, you want to make sure that everything you're picking, harvesting your seeds from is fully ripe and in the latest stage of life. I will actually leave my peppers on the vine until they start crinkling the skin. They're ready. The tomatoes, same thing. They get really extra soft and gooey. Try to get them before the birds get them or before they just fall off and make a gooey mess. But you do want to make sure that everything is fully ripe, and you will have good seeds last you the rest of your life. You can buy seeds one time and that be it. I actually bought these loofah seeds last year. I put up that big trellis that we were just under last year preparing for this, and I will never buy loofah seeds again, because by the time we process hundreds of these things, I don't know how, there's going to be a lot of them. I keep telling people every single person I have ever known in my life is going to get a loofah sponge for Christmas this year. We'll probably have our Sunday farm basket full of loofahs also. But this is just seeds from one loofah. That's a lot of seeds. Ooh, I can't even hold it in my hand. That's just one loofah, and every single one of those. Can you imagine the seeds that's going to come out of that monster one? Oh my goodness, that blows my brain. That hurts my head a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the harvesting of the loofah next month. It'll be sometime in the middle of November. I'm very excited to get there. Please like and share this video to help the channel grow. For those of you who have subscribed, you are the reason why Bowtie Life is what it is today. And I so appreciate that. Y'all are my heroes. If you're saving seeds right now, what kind of seeds are you saving? And have you saved seeds before? Share your experiences. Ask questions in the comments below. I love hearing from y'all. And I'm always looking for good information and good advice, and I've gotten so much from making these videos. So, and also there's going to be a number of links to videos in this. I do put them up in the upper right hand corner when I can, and the little letter I in the circle, that's called the cards. I put it on the closing screen, which is coming up here in just a moment, and that is the exit screen links, and I put them in the descriptions. I try to remember to put them in all three places when I can, but bear with me if I miss something. Comment below, say, hey, you forgot the link to whatever it was, and I'll be sure to get it in there. All that being said, thank you so much. Ooh. I breathed in it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Y'all have a blessed day.